Page 5. Let's now look at page 10 before we go to the Daily Nation. And this is to do with one Babu Owino. Now, of course, he was trending, I think, the whole of Monday. And this is because as a result of statements that he made during a NASA rally, which were very derogatory. But now he's in court, and MP faces charges of insulting presidency. So there we have it. Member of Parliament Babu Owino, not even 3 months after being sworn in, he's already in court.
Yeah, the new Member of Parliament for Embakasi East, Paul Ongili, alias Babu Owino. The video that forms the basis of these charges had actually gone viral. And there were even protests in some certain Jubilee strongholds, people demanding that wait. We have had instances where politicians known to have been inciting violence were arrested. Take the case of Moses Kuria, Johnston Muthama. So they were saying, why is this particular politician not being arrested? So ultimately, I think the long arm of the law caught up with him. He was arraigned in court. And there were two arguments which came up. One was a bail argument. Prosecution on one side was arguing that, wait, this is a perennial offender. He has had some other cases, so he should not ideally be released on bail. And also his advocates on record, led by Senior Counsel James Orengo and Honorable Tienda Molo, they opposed the charges on some certain technical grounds to do with the framing of charges and all that, the legality of those charges. But then the court gave a direction that actually he was to stay in police custody one more night, and thereafter his bail application and all the other preliminary objections will be looked into today at 10.
All right, so we'll wait and see how this is going to pan out. But again, looking at the law as an advocate of the High Court, possibly your advice on hate speech, because it's always, it remains very vague. What exactly does hate speech constitute, and at what point can NCIC kick in? Because that's another institution that many have called a toothless dog.
Hate speech, I think when you look in the provisions of Article 33, 34 of the Constitution, it gives you a very clear broad line. When you make remarks that are intended to incite ethnic hatred, vilification of other people, based on any grounds of discrimination, which can include race, tribe, political affiliation, then you'll be falling within that definition. The deciding factor are your comments targeted at inciting ethnic hatred against a particular individual on account of their ethnicity or on account of their political stand.
Okay.
Yes.
And where would an insult fall? Because, like now, if we take the instance of Babu Owino, that was more of an insult to an individual as opposed to a community or even inciting.
Yes, an insult now will fall under the clause whereby vilification of other people with an aim of inciting. You know, like in this, when you look at the framing of the charge sheet, the charge sheet was, the offense actually was stated as subversion by undermining the office of the presidency. Being that the president is a public office, there is some honor which people should ordinarily accord to that office. So by making those remarks, the state now is charging him for undermining that office. I think it has happened in some other jurisdictions where you find people are taken to court for undermining a specific office. So an insult will actually be undermining the dignity of the office of the presidency.
All right, there you go. So anyway, that's on page 8 of the Standard, but now let's move on.